All right, we're back. I've been absent a couple of weeks, mostly because this little fella right here, he's running from me. Daniel and I we've been doing a lot of fishing. We've been traveling for tournaments and checking stuff and trying to get a game plan together, which we fished the right stuff this week, and I could do a whole video on it. We fished the right stuff, but the timing just didn't work out for us, and so it was one of the worst performances I've had in a long time in a tournament. But if you enter enough, that's what's going to happen. So today I'm up at Anglers Anonymous, my favorite store. It's not a secret. And we're going to look at my top 5 to 10 favorite baits to throw in the spring. I'm going to focus on hard baits. I throw a lot of hard baits in the spring, so we're gonna go through the aisles here. I'm going to show you my thought process whenever I'm buying lures. These, I don't think there's a single one of them that sponsor me. So like I always tell you guys, I'm going to tell you what works and what I like and what I depend on, versus what, you know, a lot of people maybe think I'm obligated to. All right, we are here in the hard bait selection aisle of Anglers, and as y'all can tell, it's a pretty good one. We're going to talk about the hard baits, what I'm thinking about, what I'm looking at whenever I'm buying them, a couple other little side pieces that I'm moving to this year, some new stuff that I've got going on. But it's springtime. You know, we're late March right now. April is upon us. We're about to start getting the big tides. We're about to start getting the small bait hatch. We've already seen quite a bit of a bait hatch happening, but it's about to really kick off. And if you watched any of my stuff last spring, I talk about how I like to get in front of drains with that bait coming out of it to catch trout. You know, and a lot of the stuff that I'm buying today, I'm going to be using it to catch trout. A lot of wade fishing, you know, stuff out of the boat. But it's going to be stuff that is mimicking the small bait fish that are coming out of the marsh. So the first one that, you know, a lot of people are really familiar with is going to be the soft nines. You know, you got the soft nine XLs, and then you got the smaller soft nines down here. Color to me this time of year, it does matter. This pearl chartreuse, it's an absolute classic. I'll always have one of those in the box. So let's just start putting stuff here. I'm gonna throw it on the floor and get it later. So the pearl chartreuse, that's a good one. You know, the pink glitter, this thing was huge years ago. I don't see as much of it anymore, but that's still a really good color. I think that's the 08. But right now, I'm really liking the stuff with some foil and some flash in it. You know, a lot of the bait fishes coming out, the shad, the glass minnows, all those kind of fish. They're flashy little shiny fish, so I like a lot of flash in them. The pearl chartreuse doesn't have quite as much flash, but it just works well. And then the Texas chicken, you know, Colby talked about it on a video a while back. Whenever I'm fishing and I can't decide whether I want to throw the pink or the chartreuse, then I just, you know, kind of meet in the middle. So the soft eyes, and it's usually the smaller ones this time of year because the bait's small. You know, you've got glass minnows, you got shad, you got the little stuff. The soft eyes, not the XLs, the soft nines is what I'm going to be throwing a lot of. Now, my next favorite lure, the one that I'll probably be throwing the most, more than anything, is the Miradines. I really like the Miradines, and I want to say last year, this color right here did really well for me. Oh, this has a like kind of a dark green back, but it has that flashy silver side. Got the little black dot on it, so you're still mimicking the shad, the pogie, stuff like that. This is one that does really well for me, and I use it a lot. So again, I'm gonna start a little pile right over there on the floor. So that dark with the silver sides, then again. And they don't call this one Texas chicken, but it's the pink back with the silver sides and the chartreuse belly. This one gets used a whole lot. I'm gonna have a good bill at Anglers Anonymous today. And then there was one other one here that I really liked a lot last year, and I want to say it might have been this blue back with the silver sides. So these small flashy things, they've got rattles in them, so they work really well for me, but this is the big one for me. So we have our Miradines, and you know, like I said, you can go back and look at other videos. I'll be doing more stuff. I'll be doing some on the water stuff this year with it. But whenever you can see those bait balls coming down the shorelines, then I'm taking these lures and I'm throwing them on the edges of the bait balls, or maybe a little bit past them, and working them back through them. That's usually where I'm getting my strikes. Now, there's a new lure company that showed up a couple of years ago, and it is Borboletta. I don't know how many stores really carry this stuff. I think FTU does. I know Anglers Anonymous does, obviously. The Borboletta is another really cool lure, and these are the hot rods. I used this one a lot last year as a black back with green and silver sides. This hot rod did really well. I don't really twitch it and work it as much as the Miradyne. The Miradyne's more of a, kind of like what I show you with the Fat Boy, where I'm walking the dog with it. This one kind of does it on its own, and it's just a slow retrieve, and it kind of darts around and does its own little thing. So these silver sides with the black back, and if you can see the common theme here, I'm looking for stuff that's small, it's flashy, but it has a little bit of a natural look to it. It's just, I don't throw a lot of the chartreuses and the really bright stuff. I want it to look like all the other little bait fish. So moving on down, we'll go into our topwater type stuff. Again, with the topwaters, I'm staying small bait, match the hatch. We've all read it a million times. And that would probably be the Spook Juniors or the smaller Skidder Walks. And the Spook Juniors, the gold and pink, that's a classic. I use that one a lot. I don't need one because I have plenty of them at home. And then the bone and silver, or bone and chrome, I guess you would call it. That's a really good color this time of year. And those Spook Juniors, they're really easy to work. If you're new to topwaters, anything spook, the one knockers, the Spook Juniors, both of them they're easy, they're forgiving. If your cadence isn't just right, they're still going to walk the dog and do well for you. And then we get down here. I was looking at this one earlier. This is the Skidder Walk, and it's got kind of a brown back, chrome side, chartreuse belly. It's got the little, you are going to call me crazy, but I'm telling you, sometimes this little black dot matters. That seems to do well for it. This is a Adams custom bait. Mike and I, we do some work together. We've got some new stuff coming out, new colors of topwaters that I think are going to be really cool. The neat thing about these, yeah, they cost a little bit more than your typical topwater, but the way Mike paints them, the hooks don't rub all the paint off of them. They don't lose all their paint. These things have a nice thick enamel on them, where this topwater, it just needs new hooks. The rest of it really doesn't wear out. But I really like this smaller Skidder Walk with the chrome and whatnot on there. Now, one thing I don't think that you guys are going to see coming is, you see me all the time, I talk about I don't use leader a whole lot. I like to tie it direct on to my topwaters a lot. I like to tie direct on to my Corkies. All season last year, I tied direct on to the little Miradynes and all that kind of whatnot. This year is going to be different. Down South Lures is introducing a new spin on leader material that I think is going to be absolutely awesome. They'll be available starting at the fishing show, but what it is, it's a fluorocarbon that has a 10% stretch to it. So I've always told you guys that fluorocarbon or mono, it doesn't really matter to me. I've said it a million times, and that's because with the fluoro, it disappears in the water better and it's more abrasion resistant. But then you look at the mono has some stretch to it, some value whenever there's a, when you want it to stretch, some shock leader type stuff. But then, and the knots are better. When we can stretch something and let it come back, that knot's going to clinch down and just be better. Well, Down South has come out with a fluoro that has 10% stretch in it, so you're getting the best of both worlds. So this year, I actually will be using a lot more leader, and it's going to be that Down South fluoro stuff. I'm gonna bring it on the show and show it to you guys, later on down the road. But this is my tackle box for hard baits this spring. You just saw it. If I'm going out wading for trout, these are what I'm going to be throwing. We already know that I like, oh boy, my camera's losing its mind. We already know that I like to throw the small DOAs, and there's several other plastics out there that are really good, but I want to do something on hard baits. And this is what I'm really going to see the most success on this spring, if it's like the past several springs. It is 2021, so you never know what's going to happen there. But I'm going to have a lot of these in my booth. I will be at the fishing show. I have a booth there. We're going to be pretty much right in the middle of the show. I'll have a lot of this stuff here for you guys to check out. I'm not selling it for my personal gain, but Anglers Anonymous will have it here, if you guys want to check that out. But so that's it. Hard baits in the spring. We're back at it. Feels good to be back, and we will catch you on the next one.